Potato.
Hello, it's 4 o'clock. I'm Amelia Broun and this is 7's afternoon news. The top stories today in Perth. A boy bitten off Coral Bay. The 10-year-old snorkeler attacked in WA's latest shark scare. Perth's new push to boost COVID confidence in the AstraZeneca jab as Melbourne emerges from lockdown. A 32-year-old's brave cancer fight. The WA woman who took her treatment into her own hands. The monster stash of weapons and almost 5,000 rounds seized from a home in Perth South. And Australia's next travel bubble as Singapore gets set for Christmas arrivals. There's been another shark attack off WA's north coast. A 10-year-old boy has been bitten while snorkelling this morning. He was attacked by a 2-metre bronze whaler near Five Finger Reef off Coral Bay. 7 News understands he has a 16-centimetre wound to his foot. The Royal Flying Doctor Service is flying the schoolboy to Port Hedland before bringing him down to Perth. Authorities say the shark was spotted again shortly after the attack, 80 metres offshore. We'll have more on this major shark scare off our coast tonight in 7 News at 6. WA's Chief Health Officer is again reassuring the public the AstraZeneca vaccine is safe as people over 50 continue to be wary of booking their jab. The state has no active COVID cases for the first time since the pandemic began, but we're warned without vaccines we are vulnerable to an outbreak.
More than 74,000 people have booked their jabs since those over 30 became eligible. An enormous increase, but the take-up for people 50 and over continues to lag over safety concerns. Australians in that cohort are only eligible for the AstraZeneca jab. A leaked email from a senior WA doctor shows the risk of a blood clot from that vaccine is higher than first thought. But the state's chief health officer is reassuring the public the risk from COVID is much worse. Until 70 to 80% of the population is vaccinated, an outbreak is a constant threat.
Your risk of dying from the actual disease itself is around 70 times more. Not just having a clot, but the risk of dying if you get COVID is around 70 times more.
Yesterday, a 52-year-old woman from New South Wales died from a blood clot, likely linked to her AstraZeneca vaccine. That's 2 deaths in Australia from more than 3.6 million doses, or 0.00005% of people who've had the shot. The risk from AstraZeneca is much lower than the contraceptive pill, a long flight or smoking.
If you were a smoker, your risk of getting a clot is about 70 times more.
But the risk is still there. Doctors are demanding more transparency so people can make informed decisions.
It's actually up to the individual in the end to consent. That's how the law works in Australia. And so we need to give them all the information.
In 7 News at 6, the alternative vaccines the federal government is looking into, what they are and what impact they could have on the rollout.
Victoria has recorded no new COVID cases as Melbourne's lockdown is lifted today. At the same time, WA has announced a softening of border controls with Victoria. People will no longer need an exemption to travel to WA, but they will have to quarantine for 2 weeks. In Melbourne, a number of restrictions were eased from midnight. Schools are returning and people can now travel up to 25 kilometres from home. But masks are still compulsory as authorities scramble to work out how a family of 4 caught the virus. None of them had visited an exposure site or come into close contact with a positive case. Experts say the source of their infection may never be known. There are growing concerns about the state of our health system with another record day of ambulance ramping this week. It comes amid mounting pressure on the government to fix staffing issues after a midwife shortage put unprecedented pressure on WA's leading maternity hospital.
The pressure on our emergency departments is only getting worse. A new record for ambulance ramping this week. In a single day, paramedics waited 264 hours with patients waiting for a bed to free up. One senior doctor telling 7 News it's been a toxic week and unsafe, with multiple days of negative bed stock across the network and multiple code yellows. Right now, Fiona Stanley Hospital's intensive care unit is full on bed state black. The shortage of medical staff laid bare this week as WA's leading maternity hospital had to turn away mothers, an unprecedented measure known as maternity bypass. There are now calls to reopen the Bentley maternity ward that was shut down in February last year to become a COVID ward. But it remains shut just as the state records no active COVID cases anywhere in WA.
It's not sustainable to prop up any hospital based on high levels of overtime and high levels of double shifts.
Tonight at 6 o'clock, hear from those who train WA midwives, why they say the profession is at risk.
Imagine being just 32 years of age and told you'll be dead within 18 months. That was the devastating reality for a young, healthy music teacher who was given just one option: palliative chemotherapy. Jordan Cutts joins me now. Jordan, this woman was dealt a terrible hand. How did she survive?
Mills, the power of persistence and the power of social media. Savannah Gresham wasn't happy with the first answer, a death sentence, so she decided to look elsewhere. A 30-second video that she posted on Facebook changed everything. The music teacher was pointed in the direction of an oncologist here in Perth who had access to an immunotherapy drug that was being trialled over east. This is where, though, she ran into another hurdle. She had to pay for it herself, $60,000, money that was kindly donated by family and friends. It worked. Savannah, who was on the brink of death, was in remission 2 months after being diagnosed, all because she wasn't ready to give up just yet.
Words will never express my gratitude to those people and how much they helped me and my family. Actually go, oh my gosh, you were over the edge of the cliff staring down and now you've been pulled back. And then, yeah, just really starting to slow down again and appreciate life and go, these are all the things you get back now. Yeah, and all the beautiful moments I've had with my family and friends since, that was given back to me. All these years, that will be given back to me.
Savannah is campaigning for more research, more clinical trials and greater access for West Australians. The Cancer Council wants to give patients that huge dose of hope, but it needs donations. So in 7 News at 6 Mills, how you at home can help.
An incredible story. Thank you for joining us, Jordan. Police have seized a monster cache of weapons from a home in Perth South. A 72-year-old man has now been charged over a stockpile of 9 firearms and almost 5,000 rounds of ammunition. Our crime reporter Joey Catanzaro has more.
This significant cache of weapons was seized from a 72-year-old man in Willetton. I'm joined by the OIC of Cannington Detectives, Acting Inspector Doug Stebbage. Doug, can you talk us through some of the items here?
These items are seized as a result of Cannington Detectives executing a firearm search warrant at an address in Willetton. So we have 9 firearms, approximately 5,000 rounds of ammunition ranging from 50 cal, 303, 22 and 9mm ammunition.
These are huge. What would they? I mean, would these be used by police? Like, who would normally use this?
These are military grade weapons, ammunition. This is military grade ammunition.
This looks like quite the stockpile. Was there anything else that this gentleman had in his home?
This gentleman had a location in the rear of a shed, an area where he was preparing for an incident. There was food, water and shelter, along with other items associated with the manufacture of firearms.
It sounds a little bit like he may have been what some would describe as a doomsday prepper, allegedly.
Look, he was preparing for something. I can't comment on what he was preparing on.
OK, thanks very much, Doug. In 7 News at 6, we'll tell you what this gentleman was trying to manufacture in his home.
A quarantine-free travel bubble with Singapore could become a reality by Christmas if the majority of the country gets vaccinated. Scott Morrison discussed plans with his Singaporean counterpart last night. Political reporter Jennifer Beshwati has more.
While stopping over in Singapore before heading to the UK for the G7 summit, Scott Morrison held his first face-to-face talks with the Prime Minister since the pandemic began. On the table, regional security, COVID vaccines, the economy and climate change. But real progress has now been made to resume quarantine-free travel between the two countries.
Singapore is the first country outside of New Zealand that Australia would wish to engage in a travel bubble with. and we want to get it right.
No benchmark has been set, but Singapore's Prime Minister wants to see Australia's vaccination program speed up before opening up.
Once the majority of the population is vaccinated, it becomes much easier for us to contemplate these openings up.
Now, that's still some time away, but students will be the first to benefit from the bubble.
We really do want to focus on those students coming as a first wave, a first tranche.
Well, that's one way to test out our systems and get a pilot going.
Prime Minister Lee Hsien Loong also advised Scott Morrison on how to deal with a rising and assertive China.
You need to work with the country. It is going to be there. It's going to be a substantial presence. You don't have to become like them, neither can you hope to make them become like you. And you have to be able to work on that basis.
Prime Minister Scott Morrison will discuss the China issue with world leaders at the G7 summit.
Meanwhile, Joe Biden has met British Prime Minister Boris Johnson ahead of the G7 summit, which begins in Cornwall tomorrow. On his first overseas trip, the US president committed to new vaccines and a travel corridor with the UK. Europe Bureau Chief Hugh Whitfeld was there.
Most of the G7 leaders haven't arrived here on the Cornish coast yet, but Joe Biden and Boris Johnson haven't waited for them. It's the first time the US President and British Prime Minister have met face to face, a chance for the new Mrs. Carrie Johnson to step out onto the world stage too. Jill Biden with a pointed message with her choice of wardrobe, the word love printed across her jacket.
Are you pleased to be here, Mr. President?
I'm very pleased to be here.
This is all widely seen as Joe Biden resetting America's relationship not just with Britain but the world, a significant departure from the last 4 years when G7 leaders would often clash with Donald Trump. Boris Johnson and Joe Biden are casting themselves as wartime leaders, emulating Winston Churchill and Franklin Roosevelt. Keen to help the world rebuild after the pandemic, the US is committing to donating 500 million doses of the Pfizer vaccine to the 100 poorest countries.
This is about our responsibility, our humanitarian obligation to save as many lives as we can.
Britain and the US have also made new bilateral commitments on human rights, defence, science, trade and climate change, a new Atlantic Charter they're calling it. The two leaders also want to open a travel corridor between the US and UK, acknowledging many families have been separated by border closures for more than 400 days.
It's fantastic. It's a breath of fresh air, a lot of things they want to do together.
Scott Morrison is due to arrive here in the coming hours too. He'll take part in talks on the sidelines of the summit, part of the so-called G7+. And Britain is doing its best to woo the leaders here. Their trump card, the royals, with the Queen, Prince Charles, the Duchess of Cornwall and the Duke and Duchess of Cambridge, all expected to join G7 presidents and prime ministers for a reception here in Cornwall.
A man who went to the Premier's house and threatened to kill him has been spared more time behind bars. Gavin Higgs admitted to swearing and yelling abuse outside Mark McGowan's Rockingham home in March. The 33-year-old says he was drunk and intended it as a joke, but the court heard the incident terrified the Premier's family, causing his wife to lock their children in a room. He was given a violence restraining order and will need to do community service. War hero Ben Roberts-Smith has told his defamation trial winning the VC put a target on his back. Here's Chris Reason, who's covering the case.
Good afternoon. Well, as former SAS soldier Ben Roberts-Smith walked into court this morning, he would have been well aware that today was the anniversary of the very battle that earned him the Victoria Cross, a medal he also revealed today has brought him not only enormous pride but significant pain and misfortune. Roberts-Smith is in court suing 9 newspapers over a series of articles in 2018 that accused him of war crimes, specifically 6 murders. Well, yesterday he broke down in tears as he was being cross-examined about that action in Tizak, Afghanistan in 2010, in which he earned that VC, forcing the early adjournment of the case. But today he took up the tale again, explaining how he made his extraordinary assault on a Taliban stronghold. With colleagues pinned down, he knew he had to make a critical decision. Could he go home and face their families if he didn't do anything, or would he potentially get injured or killed himself? Well, the 14-hour battle was described as extremely significant. There's been no battle like it in Australia since Vietnam. It left 76 Taliban killed, but among them, it was also revealed for the first time today, was a machine gunner who was just 15 years old. Asked how Robert Smith feels about that, he replied, he struggles. Now, he also revealed that the VC had put a target on his back, stirred resentment. People belittle you and drag you down out of pure spite, he said. And one example of that, his legal team claimed, was a soldier codenamed Person 7 who questioned the legitimacy of that VC. But Robert Smith said he wasn't there, didn't see the action, even hinted at cowardice, saying he stayed back in a riverbed and volunteered to do nothing. Another example was soldier Person 10, who, under pressure, shot at a woman and child. And when he later allegedly giggled about it, Ben Robert Smith admits he punched him in the face. Now, it's been suggested in court that these are just some of multiple incidents that are at the heart of the allegations against Robert Smith, fueled by soldiers with a grudge and a jealousy against him. Nine says that is implausible. The case continues.
Accused wife killer Chris Dawson will face trial after failing to stop the case because of publicity concerns. Chris Dawson is charged with murdering his wife Lynette, who disappeared in 1982. The 72-year-old argued his chances of a fair trial were damaged by a podcast about the case and all the media attention it had received. He'll stand trial later this year. A high-flying real estate agent has been found guilty of stealing 5 home open signs from a rival agent who used to work for him. After a 2-day trial, Daniel Gonzalez was fined and ordered to pay compensation for the cost of the signs. Rory Campbell was in court.
Daniel Gonzalez fought for 2 days to try and clear his name. In the end, he couldn't convince a magistrate. The reason he took 5 signs worth $20 each was because he had a right to them. Mr. Gonzalez admitted taking the signs, which belonged to his former employee, Ben Rudgley. He claimed he believed he was entitled to them because Mr. Rudgley was using stolen confidential information. The prosecution accused the Realty Lane owner of a petty act to get back at the victim. Mr. Rudgley admits to using some information from his time at Realty Lane to contact clients. He claims he handed back a diary with client details inside. Mr. Gonzalez says it's the wrong one. Police became involved after Mr. Rudgley, his then girlfriend and his sister put together a sting operation in May last year. They planted signs in North Beach, sat off them in their cars and waited until they saw Mr. Gonzalez take 2 and put them in the back of his BMW. The trio followed Mr. Gonzalez to his home and called police. Officers found 3 other signs taken in February 2020. The magistrate told court she couldn't accept Mr. Gonzalez took the signs, believing they were his. Mr. Gonzalez was fined $300 and ordered to pay $100 compensation for the signs. He won't have a criminal record after being granted a spent conviction.
Still to come on 7's afternoon news, a second death in Victoria's flood disaster. Up next, the state emergency as residents are warned of more wild weather. Crime and punishment, what happened to the man who slapped the French president? And cattle rampage, the herd of cows causing havoc and serious injuries. Find out where next.
Swan River Secrets. What's being dropped below the surface that could change our city forever? A 7 News exclusive at 6 o'clock.
Join us for a night of transformations.
What is going on here?
From gritty Melbourne street to tropical oasis.
Imagine what you can do at your place.
The quick way to transform your front garden. And tasty treats to transform your taste buds. New Better Homes, tonight on 7.
Is So Good almond milk the better milk for you? It's dairy-free and full of calcium. So Good almond milk is packed with vitamins, and unsweetened varieties have no added sugar. Feel good inside and out and make today so good.
Have you filed a claim for compensation for a car or work accident injury? Do you know how much you deserve and what your outstanding claim is worth? Phone solicitor Simon Walters for your free initial consultation now.
Curtain World's giant winter sale starts now with 50% off linen blend shears, 50% off blockout curtains, $85 rollers, plus unbelievable prices on double curtains and shutters on sale.
Open up your world.
At Sadler's Home, we have all the stock at sensational prices. Hamilton Modular, $17.99. Buckingham Chair, $139. Wade TV Unit, $5.99. Chloe Chair with Ottoman, $2.99. A house is not a home without Sadler's Home.
To you, it's just one drink. But because your placenta does not protect your baby from alcohol, any amount you drink, your baby drinks, which can lead to lifelong physical, mental and behavioural disabilities. Women who are pregnant or planning pregnancy should not drink alcohol. Alcohol, think again.
When you think of Western Power, you might think of these things here. But the way we use energy is changing, so we're evolving the network. Connecting you to renewable storage solutions like community batteries, which store excess household solar power here, and keep communities connected here. Community batteries are just one way we're using world-leading technology to give you a brighter energy future. Western Power, powering our lives.
At John Hughes, we have a huge selection of vehicles including VW, Mitsubishi, Jeep, Kia, Ford, MG, LDV and Hyundai, and more than 2,000 pre-owned vehicles, all in one location. John Hughes in Victoria Park.
Audible is excellent for unwinding in bed with a cuppa.
Doesn't smell like a cup of tea.
Well, it's not tea. It's hard tea. What are you, the tea police?
Get a 2-month free trial for a limited time with Audible.
I think they're about to make contact.
We should blow them out of the sky right now.
But they could hold the key to our future.
Sir, they're sending a message.
Outside, and the field is set to run. They are ready.
Sorry, everyone. We're still alive in the quaddie.
Incredible.
It's arrived. Sportsbet's new Bet with Mates. Start your group, bet together and share in the moment. Bet with Mates. New from Sportsbet.
At AutoSpark, our team of skilled technicians look after auto electrical and mechanical servicing for all automotive vehicles. We're also the air conditioning and battery specialists. Visit us at AutoSpark, your trusted professionals.
You're watching 7's 4 p.m. news live from Perth. Right now it's 19 degrees in the city, cloudy with light winds and a few showers around. Very different conditions to this morning when we saw parts of our city cloaked in winter fog. Our CBD skyscrapers were shrouded by the low-lying cloud cover, which was also seen across the Perth hills. But it didn't take long for the mist to clear. Stay with us for your full weather forecast. That's coming up soon. While Perth woke to a calm and foggy morning, serious weather warnings remain in place for parts of Victoria. A second person has now been killed in the state's flood emergency. The body of 20-year-old Nina Barake was discovered earlier today. And devastated residents are being warned there are more destructive storms to come.
This is the recently redesigned lounge room of John Carlisle in Mount Dandenong 2 nights ago. It turned into this mess when a tree came straight through his lounge room. He's lived here for 36 years. He built the place. Beautiful bluestone building, and to see it now like this, John, how is that for you?
It's, yeah, well, as you can imagine, it's devastating to have it smashed down.
How many trees came through in the end?
I've had 5 trees impact. 3 hit the house, 1 hit my art studio.
And they did it at different times. The first one came through and you've jumped out of bed?
Jumped out of bed, went outside to see what tree and what the damage was, and of course I slipped on the ground and popped the shoulder out.
That's the last thing you need at that situation.
Last thing you need when you know you're going to have a big clean up. But back inside, and within a half an hour, 3 more trees down.
Your roof is still open to the outside. What's next for you then?
Well, it's just waiting for the SES, because they're absolutely flat out, but waiting for them to turn up to at least maybe trim the top off the trees so they can throw a tarp across and hopefully weatherproof. There's a lot more rain on the forecast.
It is an extremely busy time for all the emergency services. John here is still waiting to get in touch with his insurance company. First, he needs the phone back on.
India has recorded the highest ever daily death toll from COVID, with more than 6,000 fatalities in a 24-hour period. The increase is the result of one of India's poorest states revising up its previously unreported deaths. India has the second highest tally of COVID infections after the US, with more than 29 million cases. New daily infections have fallen to 100,000. A 28-year-old Frenchman who slapped the country's president has been jailed for 18 months with a minimum sentence of 4 months. Damien Terrell told the court it was an act of impulse to lash out at Emmanuel Macron in southern France, prompted by anger for what he's called France's decline. Prosecutors labelled the attack a deliberate act of violence, while Macron said the attack shouldn't be trivialised. 4 people have been injured after more than a dozen cows went on a rampage in the Bolivian city of Santa Cruz. 17 cows caused mayhem, with one captured on camera attacking a teenager and a motorbike. Police brought the chaos to an end by lassoing the beasts. They're now trying to find out where the cattle came from. Russian scientists have discovered a microscopic lake creature which has been lying frozen in permafrost for 24,000 years. The ancient organism was found in soil taken from Siberia and is believed to have almost entirely shut down its metabolism in order to survive. The organism can survive through temperatures of around -20 degrees. Coming up next in 7's afternoon news, sinkhole surprise, the wheat belt puddle that swallowed a police car. Plus, a top Aussie swim star quits, hear her bombshell claims against Swimming Australia. And full steam ahead for the Olympics in Queensland. An exciting new announcement. See what it is next.
Know the headlines as they break. Know the stories as they happen. With 7news.com.au, know the news now.
All roads lead to the mountain.
The Darwin Triple Crown is coming.
On 7.
And 7 Plus.
Get your Woolies worth on footy favourites with great weekly specials like Smith's Crinkle Cut Chips 150 to 170 grams, now $1.75 each. That's half price.
That's why I pick Woolies.
I chose to get the COVID-19 vaccination because I'm a teacher, I'm a frontline volunteer, and my parents are elderly.
It's time for everyone 30 and older to roll up for WA and have their COVID-19 vaccination. Authorised by the State Government, Perth.
The Sleeping Duck Mac 2 mattress. Sleep to live better.
Right now, you can get 6 weeks free of Boofer. And it's good timing, because I could hit any time now. Anytime. Damn! Countries went, so you get covered for less than you'd reckon with Boofer. Before life hits, you get 6 weeks free when you join on eligible products. Hurry! Search Boofer 6 weeks free. Before life happens!
The Tap Doctor does much more than just taps. Everything plumbing and everything gas.
At the Tap Doctor, we also do plumbing and gas, and toilets, and block drains, and hot water systems, and burst pipes. And
the Tap Doctor!
Godfrey's Stocktake sale is on now with up to 50% off. Hoover Magic Stick now $149, save $150. Hoover Ranger now $299, save $300. That's half price. Godfrey's Cleanliness.
Try and better these prices. Quality Aussie hardwood favourites, blackbutt, jarrah and spotted gum, all for $99.90 per square metre, fully installed. Aussie hardwood favourites. Try and buy better. Evergreen Flooring, Frobisher Street, Osborne Park or evergreenflooring.com.au.
Introducing the new Hyundai Kona, the ultimate expression of innovation. It takes the guesswork out of driving, boasts stunning features designed to stand out, and puts a world of technology within reach. In other words, it's seriously fun.
Now at Domain, get up to 40% off discontinued and ex-display outdoor furniture. That's up to 40% off clearance outdoor lounges, dining and more. Plus bonus gift card up to $1,000 when you buy on 60 months interest-free. Now at Domain.
Cookie people, cream people, crumbs people, clean people, twist people, lick people, dunk people, munch people. It's on the play, people. If you twist, lick, dunk, then you're my people. We are Oreo people.
Police officers from our wheat belt got a nasty shock last night when their patrol car got stuck in a large sinkhole on Great Eastern Highway near Merredin. The surprise pit is believed to have been caused by a burst water pipe. Luckily, no one was hurt and a local towing company helped the officers pull their car out of the hole. Swimming star Maddie Groves has quit the Olympics, complaining about what she's described as a pervert official. Miley Hogan has more.
Good afternoon. Swimming Australia says it takes all allegations seriously and that it has a duty to make inquiries to make sure it upholds the standards of its sport. But it's understood Swimming Australia isn't clear on the allegations. They say they have reached out to Maddie Groves and attempted to get more detail but have not heard back. The dual silver medalist posted online yesterday announcing her withdrawal from the trials, saying, "Let this be a lesson to all misogynistic perverts in sport. Time's up." She also referenced medical gaslighting and body shaming. Her former teammates were asked about it today at the warm-up for the Olympic trials.
I might send her a little text and check on how she's going.
The next few days are crucial for our elite swimmers. They will be racing for their spot on the Olympic team. There will be the familiar faces at the Adelaide trials, the Campbell sisters, Emily Seebohm and Carl Chalmers. And young stars Ariane Titmus and Kaylee McEwen are earmarked to be our next big champions. And there is a new face, singer turned athlete Cody Simpson.
I'm just trying to take in all his experience. And, it's my first rodeo, so we'll see how we go.
You're hoping to head to Paris?
Yeah, I'd say so.
The first race is tomorrow, and then on Thursday night we will find out who is on their way to Tokyo when the Australian swimming team is announced.
And Australians are just weeks away from confirmation Queensland has secured the 2032 Olympics after the IOC recommended the Games be awarded to Brisbane. A full vote will take place days before the Tokyo Games commence. Joel Dry reports.
Well, Brisbane's Olympic bid marathon is nearing an end. The Premier says we have cleared the final hurdle and we are sprinting to the finish line. That final hurdle came overnight with the International Olympic Committee's Executive Board announcing it will recommend to the full IOC membership that Brisbane be awarded the 2032 Games. That followed a detailed report by the IOC's Future Games Commission. They looked at all facets of this proposal, including the master plan that we saw more of today. It showed some more of those Olympic proposed venues, and more than 80% of them are already in existence. Other major contributing factors is the sustainability of these games, the beautiful climate here in Queensland, and the fact that Australians are known to love their sport. Thomas Bark, the IOC president, said all in all, this was an irresistible proposal.
I'm very confident that in 2032 we will have great Olympic Games.
The Premier is understandably excited. This will be the biggest thing that she has ever delivered for this state, but it won't just be about those games in 2032. The legacy of this major global event will live on for decades.
It would mean over 130,000 jobs. It means $8 billion in uplift, and it means the international tourism and trade benefits for decades to come.
We now have our date with destiny. The 21st of July is when the full membership of the IOC will vote on this recommendation of the Executive Board. It is highly unlikely that they will go against that recommendation, so it is very much looking like good news that next month Brisbane and Queensland will be able to say we will host the Olympics.
A Kimberley Education Department employee has faced court after being charged with disclosing official secrets and unlawful use of a computer. Noel Brunning joins us from the GWN 7 News Desk with the details.
Police say Brock Elliott Burston, an admin worker from Kununurra, used the department's computer system to access data not relevant to his duties. He'll be back in court again in 3 weeks. WA farmers are being warned to prepare for climate change. The CSIRO has released a 50-year plan which warns some farmers may only be able to grow crops every few years because of declining rainfall. And we're being warned to prepare our homes for wild weather this winter. The Department of Fire and Emergency Services say storm damage is preventable if you have a plan early.
Still to come on 7's afternoon news, the government slammed over the disastrous Robodebt scheme in an historic settlement. That's next. Plus, cops under fire for this car rollover tactic on a pregnant driver. Fresh royal tributes to Prince Philip on what would have been his 100th birthday. And whale rescue, how marine crews saved this ocean giant.
Eric Edgar Cook, the audio files.
The serial killer, in his own words.
Original sound recordings from his trial. Inside the mind of the Nightcaller. Only at thewest.com.au.
This is the end game. He saved the biggest surprise.
What?
For last.
Mirrors, mirrors, as far as the eye can see. There is no end. No end. No beginning. You could go crazy in this round.
Whoever survives the week,
I trusted you,
will make the finals. Big Brother, Monday, 7:30 on 7.
I'd like a bar of chocolate, please.
Your change.
Happy birthday, Mum.
There's a glass and a half in everyone.
Take the old grout out and put the new grout in. We'll fix your leaking shower, make it brand new and sparkling. Grout Gone.
This 21st and 22nd of June is Amazon Prime Day. 2 days of epic deals that could change your kitchen, your game, even the way you celebrate. So if you have plans on Prime Day, change them. Terry Shear, Australia's leading landlord insurance specialist, provides the cover you need for your property and rental income.
My property portfolio is protected by Terry Shear. I wouldn't trust anyone else.
Call Terry Shear or go online.
Now at Domain, save up to 55% off Australian-made mattresses and ensembles. That's up to 55% off our great Australian-made brands. Plus bonus gift card up to $1,000 when you buy on 60 months interest-free. Now at Domain.
It's Australian citrus season at Woolworths. With seedless, easy-to-peel Amaret mandarins, now just $4.50 a kilo.
That's why I pick Woolies.
This 21st and 22nd of June is Amazon Prime Day. 2 days of epic deals that could change your kitchen, your game, even the way you celebrate. So if you have plans on Prime Day, change them.
Keep your Saturday dreams alive with a ticket in the $20 million Super Draw.
Wherever you go, whatever you do, I will be right here waiting for you.
Video of the moment police allegedly caused a pregnant driver to roll her car in the US state of Arkansas has been released. Janice Harper is suing officers for using the pit technique on her and other drivers.
It rolled over. Get me EMS started.
Police say Miss Harper was speeding and failed to stop, but she says there was nowhere to pull over safely. Luckily, her unborn baby wasn't hurt in the rollover. A court has approved a $1.2 billion class action settlement in the Robodebt scandal. The judge described it as a shameful chapter in Australia's welfare history. Jade Vincent reports.
In signing off on the settlement, the judge slammed the federal government over its botched Robodebt scheme, labelling it a shameful chapter in exposing what was a massive failure in public administration. The Commonwealth admitted its automated debt recovery scheme that operated over 4 years unlawfully pursued $1.7 billion in Centrelink benefits from 433,000 Australians, many of whom didn't actually owe any money. The Morrison government promised to refund $751 million they clawed back during the scheme and has also been ordered to pay a further $112 million in compensation to eligible members of the class action run by Gordon Legal.
The importance of class actions in holding into account the biggest and most powerful of Australians on behalf of, in this case, the most vulnerable. Suicides in their family, who've contemplated suicide, who've been faced with the stigma of being welfare cheats.
Upon settling, the federal government conceded the automated income averaging system that produced these inaccurate debts was unlawful, but they won't accept legal liability.
The new chapter is now the call for a royal commission.
Just how much compensation each of the class action members are entitled to on top of their refund will depend on the amount they pay to the government and how long it's taken to get back. For these 380,000 class action members, that means they could walk away with an additional payment of hundreds or thousands of dollars.
Two of Prince Philip's children have paid tribute to him on what would have been his 100th birthday. Princess Anne and Prince Edward both spoke fondly of their father, describing him as an inquisitive man of broad interests. Europe correspondent Sarah Greenold reports.
Well, we know that Prince Philip always wanted limited fuss. He never liked anything being a big deal, so today his children revealed that he was never particularly looking forward to celebrating his 100th birthday, even though the rest of the royal family had so hoped that he would reach that milestone. This was the first time that Princess Anne has spoken publicly about her father since his passing in April. She described the Duke of Edinburgh as practical and inquisitive.
There were not many people who understood just how broad his interests were and how supportive he was of an astonishingly wide range of organisations. And his perspective was really important.
When the Duke passed away in April, the Queen, who is 95 years of age herself, she lost her consort, but she also lost her husband of 73 years. So naturally, one of the questions asked in this next interview with Prince Edward was, how is the Queen coping?
Thank you for asking. And I think actually doing remarkably well. But then I think that, yes, it was a fantastic partnership. But over the last couple of weeks, life has got considerably busier. But I think everybody's in pretty good shape, really.
Her Majesty has another very busy weekend coming up with a scaled-back Trooping the Colour on Saturday and then that much-anticipated meeting with the President, Joe Biden, and the First Lady, Jill, on Sunday.
A humpback whale tangled in a heavy fishing line off America's northeast coast has been freed by marine rescuers. It took 3 days to save the trapped whale, named Valley, with the crew using a hook-shaped knife on a pole to unleash her. The mature female had only been able to swim in circles because the line was anchored. Marine experts say it's likely she'd been caught up for many weeks. China's wandering elephants have again delighted their online fans with new video emerging of them enjoying a good swim. The herd of 15 Asian elephants, which includes 3 calves, had been trekking across the country for months. Their 500-kilometre journey along highways and through fields of crops has become an internet sensation. Basil Zemplis is up next with sport, including a big injury concern for the Dockers.
Tonight, Big Bud is kicking big goals.
Look at that. Look at that. Look at the big man.
Can he kick the Swans into the top 4?
Sensational.
Sydney versus Hawthorn on Friday Night Footy. Then, superstars with superhuman abilities. Optus Stadium hosts a Sunday night special, West Coast and Richmond. And it's all live and free on 7 Mate.
Get massive savings at Lazy Boy's end of financial year sale, like 50% off this Taylor Power leather recliner or $18.50 off the Martelli, and a huge 25% off recliners, lift chairs and sofas. Don't miss out. Hurry into your nearest Lazy Boy today.
Everyone knew it wasn't safe. Then one day it happened. Didn't know what to do. The team at CLP Legal really made a difference. They took over my case and got me compensation, which really helped me. I remember my first visit was free if I decided not to go ahead. CLP Legal, Perth City and East Fremantle.
This 21st and 22nd of June is Amazon Prime Day. 2 days of epic deals that could change your kitchen, your game, even the way you celebrate. So if you have plans on Prime Day, change them.
Bathers Beach House, Perth's only absolute beachfront restaurant, bar and function space. Lunch and dinner daily, weddings and functions. Or simply watch the sunset on Australia's first licensed beach. Visit bathersbeachhouse.com.au.
Darkness and daylight, pleasure like a smile.
Experience the delicious intensity of Lindt Excellence. The finest dark chocolate crafted to perfection by the Lindt Master Chocolatier. Excellence from Lindt.
Now that I'm retired, I have far more time to enjoy going to the yacht club.
Because Ken wasn't commuting to work anymore, he tried Yui. When your life changes, your insurance should too. Yui. You insured.
Welcome to Business Space, home base for business. Hi, I'm Peter McLennan. Everything a business needs, everything a business needs to know. Office furniture fit-outs, cafe and restaurant furniture, shop fittings and fit-outs, shelving, racking, storage, business machines and business advisory services.
At Terry White Chemmart, we are here to help this winter with our exclusive Cold and Flu Day and Night 72 value pack at just $15.99. High quality and everyday low prices. Now that's real chemistry at Terry White Chemmart.
Academy Award winners Tim Robbins and Morgan Freeman.
Hope is a dangerous thing.
The Shawshank Redemption, tonight on 7.
You are watching 7's Afternoon News. Basil joins us now. Baz, the Dockers coach is concerned about Matt Taberner.
Amelia, yes, Justin Longmuir has revealed why his talented big man will miss tomorrow's game against the Suns. It was thought Taberner had a minor ankle injury, but he'll now miss his second consecutive game and won't return until after the bye.
He's got some ligament damage in his ankle, and it clearly hasn't come along as quick as we'd like. He's got no pain, but he's lacking a little bit of strength. And really, we feel like if we played him, we'd be putting him at longer-term risk if something happened to that ankle again.
And in our main bulletin, the Dockers skipper Nat Fyfe will reveal what he's decided to do about his dislocated shoulder. That's a 7 News exclusive coming up at 6:45 p.m. Port Adelaide's push for a top 4 spot has taken a major blow. They went down to Geelong by 21 points last night. Key Cats Tom Hawkins and Jeremy Cameron were too strong for the Power. They combined together for 9 goals.
Heading into the bye, Hinkley branded his side a good team that needs to be great. Last night, he reassessed where the club is at.
We're good, but we're not good enough against the best teams in the competition. I'm not going to hide from that. We're good enough to challenge them and get really close. You know, the last 2 teams, Bulldogs and Geelong here, they've been games that have been on. We're just a little bit off those teams, and doesn't mean we'll be off them at the end, but we're off them at the moment.
Port made another decent start. They booted 5 in the first quarter. 4 of them came from Rosie, and they were lethal when the ball went inside 50. Dixon was huge with 4 goals and several contested marks, but the Cats were just as dangerous through Hawkins and Cameron.
Certainly a couple of key forwards who kicked a lot of their score, and they were able to get out the back a little bit too easy on us at times. But we didn't make enough of our opportunities. We didn't get as many opportunities as they got.
Marshall went down after this hit in the first quarter. He was taken to hospital, complaining he felt pressure through one side of his head. He'll be assessed over the next couple of days. Farrell copped a heavy hit and then turned the ball over at an important moment of the game. But early on, he kicked a Goal of the Year contender.
Farrell, a little bend into the goal square, Kate Farrell, miracle goal!
Port's turnovers were costly, and the Cats' transition was a thing of beauty. They kicked 6 straight in the second to stay in the game and 5 straight in the last to take control. Next up for Port, the Suns next Saturday at the Gold Coast. Andrew Hayes, 7 News.
Thanks, Andrew. Former Socceroos coach Ange Postecoglou has officially been named manager of Scottish giant Celtic. Postecoglou will leave his current job in Japan for Glasgow in coming days. He'll become the first Australian to coach a major European club.
Everyone I've spoken to said the same thing about me. It'll be the experience of my lifetime, and it's an opportunity that was too good to pass up.
Yeah, good on him. What a great honour. The Matildas' Olympic preparations have taken another hit. Despite a late comeback, they went down to Denmark 3-2 this morning. They've now lost all 3 games under new coach Tony Gustavsson. Boomers coach Brian Goorjian has worked his magic once again, leading the Illawarra Hawks to a shock NBL semi-final win over the Perth Wildcats. They trailed for most of the night against the reigning champions at RAC Arena, but the Hawks surged late to seal a 74-72 victory.
This time Froling! Wow! Sam Froling with authority.
Sure was. Game 2 of the Game 3 series is in Wollongong, and that is tomorrow. 2 players outside the world of top 30 will face off in the women's final of the French Open. World number 33, Barbara Krejcikova, booked her place in the decider in a thrilling 3-setter against Greece's Maria Sakkari.
Epic semi-final.
She'll play world number 32, Anastasia Pavlyuchenkova, for the French Open title. After what felt like an eternity, Australia's 4 surfers are finally official members of the Olympic team. They had their selection ratified after the World Games in El Salvador, where Sally Fitzgibbon set the scene for what's to come in Tokyo.
There's no holding sail back, that's for sure. I think everyone's just chomping at the bit to go and compete at the Olympics now. It's a long time coming.
And before boxing for gold, Australia's great heavyweight hopes, Justus Huni is warming up, trying to terminate Paul Gallen's career in Sydney next Wednesday. Rightio, Millie. Lovely to see you at 4 p.m. Well, it's a bit after 4 p.m, but you know what I mean. Nat 5 tonight, exclusive interview with Adrian Barrish.
Beautiful. See you then. Thank you, Baz. We are bracing for another wet weekend. I'll tell you when the showers will hit. Your full forecast is coming up next.
He killed 2 people, but he was never charged, and he will never go to court.
He should have been charged.
They haven't done their job. The case making Australian legal history.
What really happened at Alva Beach.
Now you will witness everything.
There was a lady standing at my door, screaming, "Please help me." Then they came over, trying to get in. Never been so scared in my life.
I'm just about to break a bloke into my house.
You will be the ultimate judge.
A Spotlight investigation.
Sunday at 7 on 7.
Mum. Oh, hello, love. I didn't hear you come in.
You didn't answer your phone.
I didn't hear it ring.
And you're not wearing your pendant again.
I hate that thing.
We all worry about family. But IntelliCare's smart in-home sensors help prevent falls and other health risks. With an app that keeps you connected 24/7. So you can start to worry less and care more.
ABC's end of financial year sale is on. Get up to 50% off vertical blinds, rollers, vertishears, timberlook blinds, shutters and sheer curtains. To book your free measure and quote,
1315 ABC.
At John Hughes, we have a huge selection of vehicles including VW, Mitsubishi, Jeep, Kia, Ford, MG, LDV and Hyundai, and more than 2,000 pre-owned vehicles, all in one location. John Hughes in Victoria Park.
Do you have heartburn or indigestion? Gaviscon Dual Action relieves them fast. It neutralises excess stomach acid and forms a protective barrier that blocks acid reflux. Gaviscon Dual Action, now in mixed berry tablets.
This 21st and 22nd of June is Amazon Prime Day. 2 days of epic deals that could change your kitchen, your game, even the way you celebrate. So if you have plans on Prime Day, change them.
Meet Hannah, or at least that's what we're calling her.
I worked at even though I got staff discounts, Aldi's was my better option.
Go on.
Why would you pay more if you can get it for less?
That's why Aussie shoppers save over $2 billion a year at Aldi.
Here at Amart Furniture, our end of financial year sale is on now, with up to 50% off a massive range of furniture and bedding in-store and online. You won't want to miss it. Amart Furniture, limited time only.
There once was a proud super nerd who got complacent and sang like a bird. And just when he thought he could rest,
BMW. 7 o'clock. Oh, no, it's not.
this team started scoring their best.
Why, I order.
Now can Nerdy remember a word? Knew the Chase, weekdays on 7.
Good afternoon, it's Savannah here with a check of your roads. Now we do have the usual action on those freeways, northbound at Scene Brake Lights, Ankertel Road, South Terrace up to the city and then Hutton Street to Reed Highway. If you're heading freeway southbound, exercise patience through the city to Mill Point Road, on the brakes again at Berrigan Drive down to Ankertel. You don't have to go far from Perth to get away together. Book the home that makes a holiday with Stays. Your Together awaits. Download the Stays app for your next holiday today. More traffic on Monday.
This weather report brought to you by Bridgestone Select for tyres and car servicing.
Now, Fuel Watch. Perth's petrol prices brought to you by Fuel Watch and 7 News.
Checking the weather now, and we've had scattered showers in Perth across the day, but the majority of the rain did clear overnight. We hit 20 degrees this afternoon. Around Australia tomorrow, cloudy in Adelaide and Canberra, a sunny day in Sydney, 19, and showers in Melbourne with a top of 16. Back to Perth, and it's a wet start to the weekend. A high chance of showers tomorrow morning, and we could even get a storm down to 8 degrees overnight into Sunday morning. Partly cloudy with a few more showers. Monday, we'll see the rain easing through the day, a top of 18, before the sun starts to make a return on Tuesday finally, partly cloudy with light winds. And that's all for now. Baz and I will be back with Rick and Sue for 7 News at 6. Stay with us for the Chase Australia.
Six weeks to go.